It's time for the Artist Spotlight, with your host the Necromancer, here on Ripper Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Artist Spotlight here on River Radio. I am joined with my lovely co-host, the lovely Raven from Raven's Knock Music, and also a couple of members of Gravehuffer. Want to introduce yourself, guys?
Yeah, I'm Richie. I play guitar in Gravehuffer.
And I'm Mike. I play bass in Gravehuffer.
Cool. A lot of changes have happened in your band lately since the last time we've talked to you. You've been through two different drummers now, and put out a vinyl version of your original record and whatnot. What's all been going on with you guys?
Yeah, actually, that's kind of crazy to think about. Actually, yeah, we've cycled through a couple drummers now, but Larry, our original drummer, he plays on Your Fault, the vinyl version as well. There's two vinyl bonus tracks. Larry plays on the title track, Your Fault, and then Matt Browning, who we had for about a year. Maybe not quite a year. He plays on the song No Boundaries, No Borders. And then Matt just didn't work out, or it wasn't for him. I'm not real sure on that. But now we have a guy named Casey Denton, and he's from the same kind of general area as Matt, actually, in Springfield, Missouri. And he's kind of saved our skins. We had shows booked and didn't have a drummer, and he came and learned a set in like a week. And then we played in Little Rock, Arkansas, and that's been going since, I think, October of last year. It's been going well. And so, yeah, we're getting ready to put out a two-song vinyl EP on our new label, No Slip Records. And it'll be an introduction for Casey to the people that listen to Gravehuffer.
Steve?
Yeah, you want to?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Demon Face. It's about this dude named Edward Mordrake, and there's not like 100%. People aren't sure if it's 100% true story or not, but basically, the dude had like a face in the back of his head, like a parasitic conjoined twin, and
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So.
Really had eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah, right. I did an interview with another guy, Kill Logic Effect, and we were in chat the other day when listening to that song, and he's like, "Man, how awkward would it have been to have been that guy's barber?"
Or comb your hair in the morning.
I mean, like, you're cutting his hair, and you're like having to like cut two sets of bangs and whatever. And then he's like, I guess he couldn't really talk, he just was just gibberish. But anyway, he would just drive this guy. The twin would drive him crazy, and we tried to, put that through with the music too. It kind of builds an intensity. And Edward, he committed suicide at 23 because it just drove him that crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty heavy story, really. And so the music builds and builds, and Edward finally has enough. And he didn't even want to be buried with this thing on his head. He's like, he wanted the doctors to chop it off, to do away with it. No doctor would attempt it. He's like, well, my dying wish is to have it removed because I don't want to even take it to the grave with me. And so, that's all in the lyrics and everything. And we tried to, James did a real good job vocally of
isn't like one verse the face, the twin, and one verse is coming from more like Edward?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think it's mainly from Edward's perspective, but I think it's kind of like a back and forth.
Yeah, because
yeah, it's like a back and forth. Like each line has a different kind of thing from one from Edward, one from the Demon Face, and it's pretty cool how it. What's that?
He could really talk to himself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they could talk to him. They literally talk to himself. But yeah, I guess it would have the opposite emotions of Edward. And if Edward was happy, it'd be sad. If he was mad, it'd be, it'd laugh at him. And I guess like it wouldn't let him sleep because it like whisper to him and stuff, and
That would be
it's pretty crazy. But yeah, and at the end when we were recording it, we got to record like laughing and crying and all this crazy stuff, and that was a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun to put together.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, they had that character on one of the American Horror Stories with the Freak Show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
they used his
Yeah.
character in that movie, in that TV show. The guy with the two faces, the one on the back of his.
Yeah, I've heard of. I've never watched the show, but I heard that it was used, like, or his character was used in one of the episodes or something.
Oh, we're gonna go ahead and let some people check out Demon Face, and that'll be on our first song here on the Artist Spotlight.
I can give you what you want. I can give you what you need. Laughing, crying, devil queen. Malevolent malignancy. Portrait weeping every time you laugh. Laughing every time you weep. Whispering these things from hell to you when you try to sleep. Portrait. Your life is now a living hell. That keep your head is where I dwell. You'll never get away from me. Secluded in your lonely cell. Tormented, tortured, desperate soul. Satanic blood deformity. Cry out your light you'll never shed. The demon face monstrosity. Now it's born an atrocity. That evil doctor deity. Protect the cry I beg and bleed. Remove the strength to surgery. The beast that is my devil twin will always live within my skin. Maternal tumor parasite. It is the time I want to die. To the life I long to bring. For first amidst suffering. Burning hatred, all I know. Descending into lunacy. Got demonic gibberish. Foul and hateful rhetoric. My joy comes from your misery. To see you suffer grants my wish. I draw disgusting twisted joke. The humor of an angry god. There is no life, there is no hope. Devoid of love, devoid of God. Wait, but you can never win. When I'll keep you in your place. Yes, I am the devil's twin. And you can call me Demon Face. And it's a misery and woe. Sex for peace I'll never know. I cannot tolerate the speed. This poison could consume me. I end my life at 23. And Dr. No embraces me. I leave the world with one request. Get off my face away my wrist. It will not take. Face on Demon Face. This will be a fate. You're never gonna die to hate. Darkness! It never said we deny. Magic! Take the no bearing and time! Magic! Magic! Demon Face! Demon Face! Magic! Magic! Demon Face! Demon Face! Magic! Magic! Demon Face! Demon Face! If it's too loud, you're too old on Ripper Radio.
All right, we're back with Grave Huffer. I think Raven might have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been watching the evolution of your new guitar, Richie, and how long did it take for you to actually get the new guitar?
Yeah, that's gonna probably within the next month, actually.
I can't wait to see the pictures of the new guitar.
Me too. I'm like I'm excited about it.
I bet.
Yeah, it's gonna be black, like my other V. But we're gonna put I'm sorry, it's gonna be red. But it's shaped like my other guitar. But it's going to have like a black kind of binding border, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
And so, it'll look like we're calling it the Red Baron. Or at least that's the guitar maker, Killer Bee Guitars. Yeah. That's what he's wanting to call it. So, and kind of a cool thing about this is that he's thinking about putting this as part of his regular line of guitars, in retail, for people to buy, and so it'll be associated with us. And I'm like, man, that's pretty awesome.
Are they going to
I'm actually super excited about that.
Grave Huffer
on the back on the sucker or something?
Probably up.
The pickups are going to have the Grave Huffer logo on them.
Oh!
Yeah, and Zombie Dust pickups Zombie Dust pickups are making those for me. So they're like laser and etched or laser engraved on there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Great Huffer.
Right?
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Right on, definitely.
It's kind of cool to have your own signature line going out. That's pretty awesome.
What kind of bass
I'm kind of hoping that. What kind of bass do you play?
Right now I play Fender P-Bass, the USA P-Bass, just kind of like a D.D. Ramone thing, I mean,
okay.
I just wanted that sound. I played Ibanez basses for a really long time, and people always say, man, you need a P-Bass, And I was always like, man, I just didn't want to spend the money. And then finally I saved up for a long time and got one, and I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, I remember the day he got that thing. We're like, yes.
The strings just jump off of it. It's like, bow, bow, bow. Like,
yeah. Yeah, really.
I love it.
It is awesome.
So how many strings? Just regular 6 string? Four string?
Yeah, I play 4 strings.
Yeah.
I haven't run out of shit to do on 4 yet, so I guess when I run out of stuff on 4, I'll get another 5 string.
Like a half string.
I haven't run out of stuff yet.
Be like the guy
There's
from
a lot of notes on there.
There's so many combinations you can do. So
kind of like that guy from Bond Dogma I. He plays a 24-string bass, and it's like, why?
Jiminy, how are you? Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, but it's this he's this little skinny dude, and I'm like, you can't even reach the top of your bass, and he still plays it. But like, okay.
Man,
it's about 6 to 8 inches wide. Bass.
Yeah, I mean, he'd have to do a lot of tapping or something.
Yeah, he does a lot of tapping, but it's insane.
You have to take your shoes and socks off when you play a bass like that. You got to do your hands and your feet.
Sit down and I can see that. I could see you wrap your feet up, play the bottom.
I mean, it's one thing to see Joey DeMaio play a 12-string, but 24? That's just too much.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a little
Right.
So you guys were on Bluntface there for a while, and then now you're on No Slip Records?
Yes.
They're treating you a lot better than Bluntface, or how did that all come down?
Yeah, No Slip is real well. I mean, I'm not going to lie. And I highly recommend checking them out. They call themselves a boutique record label, vinyl label, I guess. A lot of the stuff they do is multicolored vinyl and stuff that's splatter vinyl, stripes. He does a lot of very special edition kind of things. You can tell he puts a lot of thought and effort into tying it in with the artwork and stuff. So that's what he's done for us. mean, the artwork's all black and white, and so the records have like black splatter, white splatter, like a smoky marbling, and then a solid white, and so there's like 4 different variations that you can pre-order. So that it's kind of cool to have that.
It's like having a really badass graphic artist run your label.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's like, oh, look at the sticker I made. You're like, holy shit.
Right, yeah.
Badass.
It is. It's really cool. Like, he'll send stuff.
I don't
remember
seeing
the vinyl. Is your great cover input on the vinyl? Or?
I mean, it's on the label. It's not like in the actual vinyl, but the vinyl colors just they fit with the artwork, if that makes any sense.
Oh, okay.
So it, that's why I'm saying, like, a lot of his records, like if he puts out a like I've got one of their records, and it's this band called Hazard, and there's a lot of green and blue on the cover, so it's like a green and blue like splatter vinyl, and it matches up real well. So he's real mindful of that. He just doesn't say, "Oh, we're going to do this color or this color." I mean, when we did the Bluntface, when we were with Bluntface and did Your Fault, we was like, "Well, let's do red because there's a lot of red in the artwork." So we wanted it to make sense. But yeah, No Slip's real good about doing that. And like Mike said, it is like having a really good graphic designer do it, because he did the layout for the artwork and everything, and he does a really good job.
Yeah.
Totally cool.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and he just seems like he just whips it up like that, About an hour later, he'll have something like, "Hey, check this out." It's like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Did that already?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh my god.
I would have just been getting started. I got it cleaned up. Ready to go. He's like, done.
Yeah.
Fuckers. God damn.
Jesus. Fucking assholes. Okay, sorry.
That's what we get for having nice weather,
right?
Yep.
People like their goddamn car horn, man. Jeez.
That's people.
Sorry.
These people that live across the street, man, they should have a TV show.
Man,
Such is life.
you gotta love neighbors.
We're lucky our neighbors are quiet.
Well,
That's good.
Yeah, it's no
That's
fun.
good.
Yeah, most of our neighbors are super cool. They're just one bad apple over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've
got one of those.
Well,
Right.
The guy, the old
Yeah.
that snaps and kills them,
Yeah. Lovely dude.
and the drug dealers across the street. Yeah.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Right.
All right, I think we're going to go on to our next song. This is the other B-side of your 7-inch. This is Stalingrad's Cross. You want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to put together as well. We were writing the song, and Mike and I we were just jamming together at his place, and it just kind of like came together like within like 30 minutes. We pretty much had the song written.
Cool.
And, so we showed it to James, and he's like, "Man, this song just reminds me of a military march. It's got that kind of sound to it." And he's like, "I've always wanted to write a song about the Battle of Stalingrad," and that's basically how that came together. And he was telling us some things about Stalingrad, like the Russian soldiers were singing a song called "Song of the Volga Boatmen," because the city of Stalingrad was on a river called the Volga. And so when they were singing that song, and we put the melody of that song at the very end of our song. And
cool.
To tie it all together. And then the cool thing about James, the cool thing that he did about the lyrics, like the first verse is from the perspective of the Germans, because they're the ones that were charging into Stalingrad. And the second verse is from the Russians that were defending Stalingrad. And then the the last, I don't know what you'd call it, the third section is more about like from an outsider's perspective and the blood and carnage and the brutality and stuff. So, and then the 2 guitar solos on there are from friends of ours by a band named Sardis. And the first solo starts out quoting Flight of the Valkyries, which is Wagner. And so You know, he's like, that'd be cool if one of us was a Russian composer and one was a German composer, and so that's kind of what they put together.
Yeah, I thought that was
a super cool idea. Yeah, and so yeah, it was a lot of fun putting that song together.
It's just fun, like putting that, like coming up with those things, and it's like putting thought into it.
Right.
And it's like it's something that really happened. You know. So,
yeah, really. I mean, the material it basically wrote itself. I mean, you know, we're just like
it's like doing an essay, but with music.
With music, yeah,
some kind of shit.
Exactly. Yeah, this is our school project this year.
What are we gonna be? We gotta see.
We gotta see.
I think you get a name.
Yay!
All right, so this is Stalingrad's Cross from Gravehover.
Children, we march side by side for the glory of the fatherland. Under the Volga and Orpilta to cooperate at the Stalingrad. Back to the heart of the city and strike at the hold of the Bolshevik flag. Black cross of smoke, assuring a victory here in the war of the red. Destruction and bloodshed of fury that second to none. For to the Germans with our tasty carcasses, mutilation and process. Death lurks around each corner, the enemy forces will soon be undone.
Sports. And you're comfortable with Ripper Radio.
All right, we're back with Grave Huffer, and we are now joined by another member of Grave Huffer. You want to introduce yourself to everyone out there?
Yeah, my name is James. I do vocals, and I just got here. I guess some miscommunication. I'm blaming Richie. Richie's probably blaming me, so it's one of those things. That's the way it goes.
It's your fault. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, probably. Your fault.
Oh, come on.
How long did it take you to get that? Come on.
It's all your fault.
You guys want to talk a little bit about your musical influences, like one by one, who inspired you to get into music and the like?
Well, I don't know. Like, I used to listen to a lot of soundtrack music when I was a kid and Beach Boys shit. So I was really into melodies and stuff when I was a kid, but I didn't play an instrument until my brother had a bass that he kept in the closet, and my friend told me it was really easy to play, so I took it out and took it from him, started learning how to play. But the thing that really made an impression on me, I think, was when I first heard the first Suicidal Tendencies. And I was like, wow, there's a whole world out there I don't know about, you know? And I just dove in, and I've been like a punk rock kid. I'm like fucking 48 years old, and I'm still a fucking punk rock kid, I guess.
Yeah.
And I still always looking for weird bands and punk bands, but I listened to a lot of Devo. You know, I was like into Curtis Blow. Like, I had a weird music taste. But real crusty. I love crusty stuff, you know. African high life music.
Yeah. I'm just getting into, Mike's getting me into that. It's awesome.
Yeah, those guys are some bad motherfuckers.
I like that stuff a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, I try to listen to a little bit of everything, man, because you miss out if you don't, you know.
Okay, so two bass players for you. Geddy Lee, Joey DeMeo.
Okay, and Joey DeMeo. Man of War.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We met him in person. We were on the tour bus.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
But I went to, I saw Rush like back in the day with Mr. Big, right? I thought, I'll see Billy Sheehan and Geddy Lee.
Yeah.
But when I went, I just watched Neil Peart the whole time. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off him, right?
Right?
He's amazing, man.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Big, I was pretty let down, man. I was like,
yeah.
How do these guys are such badasses and they write terrible songs?
Yeah, commercial.
I just listened to,
Yeah, it's not
Everything's every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands like that.
Like, they could have been like Frank Zappa type shit. You know what I mean? Like, they could have been like,
doing some crazy shit, yeah.
That would have been badass. But instead they're like,
that sells.
yeah. For a
I got
minute.
this stuff only weird 'cause
Yeah.
it's on acid all the time.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Ritchie.
Me now? Okay. Well, I guess my family was always really music. We grew up church. My mom was always singing. You know, I was into like a lot of early on Billy Joel, Simon and Garfunkel. That's my mom really liked them. So there's always something playing growing up. And then a little bit later on, that's kind of when I branched out and found your own things that wasn't just your parents' music. And I'd have to say probably the first that I really got into was Maiden, and then it just kind of spiraled out from there. But I don't know, I played drums a little bit in the school band, took piano lessons, and like I said, I came from a pretty musical family. And I remember, I think it would have been like right around the time Sepultura Rise came out. And I really liked Max's vocals, man. I just thought, man, that is cool. So I would kind of do that. I would have been in like 7th grade at the time, 7th or 8th. Well, I can kind of do that. I don't think my balls haven't dropped all the way yet. I'm still waiting on that. But once they do, I'm going to sound good. No, so I kind of got into it. I think I'd have to say, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but Max Cavalera was probably like one of my earliest, like, I kind of like to sing like that, you know. And it's kind of like, that's sort of where it started, and got like different influences or whatever along the way. I'm kind of like Mike too. I like a lot of punk rock. I just like aggressive music. You know, sometimes it doesn't have to be fast, but you can call it whatever you want. I think people worry too much about categories and subcategories, and good tunes is good tunes. That's the way I've always felt, and that's the one thing I think in this band that we might not like exactly the same stuff, but we all have open minds.
That's good.
Yeah, and it's no fun to try to play with people who don't. It's like, write the same song the 20th time.
Yeah.
Fighting over writing music just isn't going to work.
Yeah, definitely.
Dave,
Well,
Richie?
all right. My musical thing, I'd say a lot of it had to do with my parents. They were always like, my dad was always blasting records, man. And it was like Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and stuff like that. And I remember, they named me after Richie Blackmore from Deep Purple, so But my dad's like way, way, way into that. I do remember one time flipping through my dad's records, and he had this Judas Priest record, and it was Unleashed in the East, their first live album. And I remember seeing KK Downing like playing a Flying V, and I was like, "Whoa, the hell's that?" Like, man, that's badass. This would have been like 1980. I was like 5, and
oh my gosh,
I put the record on, and the song "Exciter" comes on, and I'm like, "Oh shit, man!" It's like double bass and all this like fast guitar, and I was like, "What the hell?" I'd never really quite heard anything like that. So that was my first like band that like really drew me in. Prior to that, it was probably like Deep Purple and Rainbow, Dio.
Hell yeah.
And his stuff was like stuff maybe you weren't supposed to listen to as a kid. It was like, but my parents were cool. They didn't care. They liked it. So I know a lot of my friends and stuff were like, parents let you listen to that stuff, So yeah, that's kind of.
My parents listen to that stuff.
I was like, my parents listen to that stuff,
I had almost all of the music I listened to from my parents, so I'm a totally different background as far as that goes.
Right.
I think about the only thing I was allowed to listen to that I didn't have to hide was like Weird Al. I still love Weird Al. That's cool. But most of my cassettes I had hidden in my closet. You get a lot of Maiden, a lot of Priest, Slayer.
Didn't you take stuff on like a Petra? Or is that Travis?
That's Travis.
Enough to do that.
Well, right,
Even
right,
take
right.
a
Travis.
tape Iron Maiden on.
Yeah. That is awesome.
So I want to
over Petra.
I want to tell you guys a story. You were talking about stuff your parents listened to. My mother was a waitress at a bowling alley, and when her normal customers would come in, they would give her money to play the jukebox.
Yeah.
Well, I had been really bad sick and had the chicken pox, and I was asking for the album Kiss Destroyer.
Yeah.
Mom said, "No, you can't have that. I heard that night Satan service."
Yes.
So I went to
I remember
now,
that.
the funny part, I go to visit my mom at a restaurant, and a guy gives her money, and she goes, she doesn't know the name of the song. She just knew the number on the jukebox.
Yeah.
She started, puts money in, playing all these songs, and the next time I tell Beth, by Kiss, the Destroyer album,
Right.
on the jukebox.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, you playing that? Yeah. Did you know that was it?
That's so funny.
I'm at for it. Spot it.
Hey. Come on.
But that was the only song like that. She's probably like, "What the hell? What did I buy?"
Hey.
Got a thumb.
Yeah. My oldest daughter, Beth.
Hey.
Wonder where that came from.
Right?
Oh,
This song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're a 1980, you were 5 years old comment. I graduated high school in 1980.
Oh wow. She graduated high school in '80.
Well, you should. I wish our newest edition was here. Our drummer Casey, he's 22, I think.
Yeah, he's only 22. Yeah.
So
my kid's older than him.
yeah. Mike's kid's
older than him.
Yeah. Richie's got an old. His oldest son isn't that far behind.
He'll be 16 in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
my oldest daughter.
I was the youngest one.
Yeah,
my oldest daughter's 37. My youngest 34.
Wow.
Yep.
Nothing but a number.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get segued into another song from you guys. This is No Borders, No Boundaries, No Borders. I'm dyslexic. Give me a break.
That's all.
Can you tell us a little bit about that one? No Boundaries, No Borders.
Oh, as far as like,
what's it about?
Whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of in a nutshell. It's just about not shutting yourself off to certain experiences, art, whether it's
open-minded.
What's that now?
Being open-minded.
Yeah, kind of what we were just talking about, and then also sort of like just the kind of, when the people that do and just being like smug and arrogant and just like, oh my God. It's kind of funny that I'd had a falling out with a who I considered to be a really good friend for a long time ago. And about a couple years back, we had a bad falling out. And it wasn't a whole lot longer that we started working on that song and I'd written the lyrics. And I never even really thought about it. But both Mike and Richie were like, hey, is that about this guy? And I just thought it might be. Yeah. I didn't really even realize it when I was writing it, but I think I was drawing on some past experience and just, everybody knows the type. It's like, I mean, obviously I'm not going to drop any names, but this guy had been in the band for a long time, and anybody that he would play with, he'd have an issue with, like, oh, they suck, they're posers. It's just like looking down his nose at everybody. I just remember, like, well, you got to start somewhere, like these bands that you're playing with, a lot of times they're 16, 17 years old. Like, don't be a dick, basically.
Yeah.
Like, give them a chance. And, so I really do kind of think, even though I didn't realize at the time that maybe he was the kind of inspiration for some of those lyrics, at least.
Yeah.
And then the rest, I don't know.
Well, you got to remember when you were 16.
Right. You got to start somewhere.
You had to be like shunning new people to the scene.
And there was some of that. There was most people. I feel like in the '90s and Joplin they'd just be glad to see anybody that was into the same kind of stuff.
Definitely.
But I do remember some of those. We're cooler. We're the cool kids. It's like, well, 10 years before you weren't. So
right. You weren't anybody.
Right.
All right. So this is No Boundaries, No Borders from Gravehuffer.
Live and experience, you live on the fence.
All right, we're back with Greg Tucker.
Oh shit.
That's something you want to ask me?
No, that's it.
Sorry.
Mid conversation.
Yeah, we have
We should have-
conversations between songs, you know. Then you,
Sorry.
can,
Yeah.
you come back and you get flustered. Crap. So, Mike, you're a kaiju fan, aren't you?
Oh God.
Yeah, I love Godzilla. Like,
Oh God. Here we go.
man, when I when I was a kid,
That's
dude,
hilarious.
like my mom was like a big movie buff, you know, and I was born in 1970, so I got to see a lot of cool like 70s kids movies, you know, Godzilla, King Kong, all that shit. But I got to see it at the theater, and like Inframan, you know, I don't know if you know Inframan.
Yes, I do.
But I saw that at the theater when I was a kid. And man, my brother, it was like this karate, like Power Ranger type of thing, you know?
Way
Yeah,
cooler.
Yeah, it was way cooler. Than Power
Right,
Ranger.
right.
Yeah, with the
But
dude with the
man,
big
I remember me
giant
and my
rock
brother,
like things with
fucking
springs
whole
and all that kind of
house.
stuff.
Like,
I know what you're talking about.
these karate kids, like, I'm Inframan.
See, my wife's over here shaking her head because, you know, half my collection is Godzilla or anime or martial arts.
Nice.
I think
Nice.
we own every Godzilla movie ever made.
All but one.
Hell yeah. I've got
I'm only missing
55
one,
of
damn
them.
it.
There's like 30 of them, man.
Yeah.
There's a bunch
Yeah,
of them.
he's only missing one.
Now me,
I'm a Mothra girl. I like Mothra.
Mothra.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mothra's cool.
Huh?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
pretty.
I thought Mothra's cool.
Create.
Yeah. Isn't that the one that has King Caesar in it? Or
Yep.
in Mothra?
Kings is Caesar, yeah.
Yeah, he's cool too. He's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Do you like
hybrid
like
lion.
Battle of the Planets and Star Blazers and shit?
Yep. I
Yeah.
have.
He owns those. I won't watch
them
him because they're stupid.
Oh
Oh my gosh. I like funny, but I don't like stupid.
Come on.
Funny, no, funny is good.
She
But I
likes
can't even-
she likes Gamera over Godzilla. So what can you say?
Like that was the cartoons that was on in Oklahoma City. You know, like we had Speed Racer, Battle of the Planets, Star Blazers.
Yep.
Like I remember hauling ass from school just to get home in time to see Star Blazers. You know what I mean?
Star Blazers played here in Cleveland, and I had cable, so it played every morning before I went to school. So I got up early and watched Star Blazers every morning.
Yeah, that was Voltron. Like we had to get up early if we wanted to watch Voltron.
Yeah, when
my
I got
brother
home.
was huge into Voltron, man.
Or Robotech. They play
I
Robotech.
watched a lot of robots.
Yeah, that was a
Macross.
little
I gotta say it in
They play
Macross.
that
I can't
at
say
6
Robotech.
in the morning, so
Yeah.
you want to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was just because it was a little weirder than all the stuff that came on after.
Right.
We'll play Robotech and then Bugs Bunny.
Well, Bugs Bunny ain't Bugs Bunny
I like
anymore. It's all
Looney Tunes.
PC.
I love Looney Tunes.
Oh, yeah. You can't show them anymore. You know?
Yeah.
They don't show real cartoons anymore.
Eh.
Yeah.
The reason I brought it up is because you had Destroyer of Worlds. You had Godzilla in your original version of your video until Toho finally
yeah.
got word of it. Which is
Toho very protective of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They are.
we weren't making fun of them.
No.
They don't
There's a
care.
trip.
They don't care.
They don't care. If you don't pay them royalties, they ain't gonna let you.
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, we weren't making any damn money off of it either.
Right.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things. I think we've probably gotten away with some stuff that, you know, hopefully
we all have.
we'll continue to get away with.
Yeah.
all
We
of us
just
have done
know not
that
to
at one
get
time or
anything from
another.
you, too.
Yeah.
One of my new bass cabinets
Oh yeah.
is going to have Godzilla on it, dude.
Cool.
Cool.
Like
That's
Craig, like
pictures.
Yeah, get like this
Nice.
custom-made arachnid cabinets.
Oh, you're getting one too? Cool.
I've seen pictures of Richie's.
Yeah, they're making me a stack, and one's going to have Godzilla. It's going to have Godzilla on the front of it because it's like
Gotta
Like
be a
that.
picture.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
giant
Nice.
picture of Godzilla.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I'll send you a picture when we get it.
Cool.
You know who else had Godzilla in the videos? The Godzilla's in the Number of the Beast video from Iron Maiden. But they probably were smart enough to pay royalties.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They can afford
They can afford it.
Just real
Just real
briefly.
briefly.
Yeah, they show a shot of them.
I guess I never noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I do that Mad Robot Gallery Theater show, and I can
Oh
play
yeah.
some Gamera, but it's
Yeah.
YouTube will block it in Japan, but I can play it everywhere else in the world, but Japan.
But Japan.
Japan.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Nice.
So
Interesting.
Yeah.
On YouTube, like,
'Cause
there's a
here
whole
it's on-
shitload of Star Blazers.
Yep. But here it's public domain, so I can use it. But that version
Right,
can't be
right.
played over there because it's different than the Japanese version, and they block it. So
Right, yeah.
You don't want them to be a different version.
Yeah, it's completely different copyright-wise over there.
Well, it's kind of like watching Godzilla, or what we thought was Godzilla forever. And then when they put out the original version, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
yeah, when they
Way
brought Raymond Burr ruined it over here.
Fuck Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, when somebody says they've seen that Godzilla, I say okay, with or without Raymond Burr.
Yeah.
Just like 84,
What's Raymond Burr? I
85.
can't believe, like, whoever edited that was fucking high on something. They were. That's some good shit they had.
Yeah.
So I always thought it was funny in Godzilla in 1985 when Raymond Burr's walking down a hallway and you look in the back and there's a Dr. Pepper machine in the military. And I'm like, okay, you know who's paying for the rewrite and everybody will be out there sponsoring the
so
show.
strategic.
All about that product placement.
Product
Yeah.
placement,
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
Alrighty,
Godzilla
well, I
just
know you
took
guys
out the
got
Cheeto
another
factory.
interview coming up, so I don't want to keep you much longer. Guys,
Oh,
have
that's
anything
cool.
to say, like concerts or anything coming up soon?
Oh,
Plug
man.
Plug
yourself.
yourself.
Got a bunch
Plug
of stuff
yourself.
coming up.
Yeah, we have a lot of shows coming up.
Plug yourself.
The 420 Fest.
Yeah. Yeah, we're playing this 420 Fest on 420. And,
When does that start, by the way?
420.
At 420. No,
Ah.
I mean, the time of the day.
You actually
I'm-
had
I'm-
to ask.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's in Pittsburgh, Kansas.
I think at 4:20 in the afternoon. I'm like, that's a good idea. They should do that.
Tea time.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
tea time.
Well, tea time in
It
England.
was-
In England, it's tea time.
Over here is
yeah,
strike up
yeah,
the blunt.
it's tea time.
Tea time.
So yeah, we're doing that, and that's in Pittsburgh, Kansas. It's fairly close to us. After
Wichita
dude,
gonna
yeah,
happen?
we're playing a show in Wichita, Kansas, with this band Fist.
I like those guys.
Yeah, they're badass. What the heck? A Space Between, I think's the other band, and then I can't think of the other band's name.
You're in a little list.
I need to.
Yeah.
Well, send
Well,
us
send
your
us
info.
the
St.
info.
Louis.
We'll post it on Ripper Radio's Facebook page to plug you guys.
I've got it all. On my phone, I can just copy and paste it on your page or message
you
it to you, or
go.
however you want to do
Well,
it.
you can go ahead and post it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll add it
post
to
it
the
on
events page on ripperradio.com. So if you have an event.
When's the big Topeka thing? Just tell them about that.
Yeah, Topeka Metal Fest. This is a 2-day festival. It's in September 21st and 22nd, and it's at the Jayhawk Theater, and there's like 30 bands or something.
Yeah, that's going to probably be maybe the biggest thing we've done.
Yeah,
as far as like the most. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's gonna be
huge place.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, like that full on stage and lights and all that. And like it's gonna be professionally videoed and photographed and all kinds of cool stuff.
We're going to have to make ourselves space out more.
I know, it's gonna be kind of weird.
It's got to like put 4 guys like huge stage and we'll all be like right together.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure not to do that.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta dance across the stage while you're playing.
Yeah, we gotta have to
Don't be a statue.
do some work the stage.
Start working on our high kicks. Watching some Poison videos, you know.
You gotta
Gotta
do
get
your, like,
choreographed.
David Lee Roth jumping off the drum riser.
Gonna do the Rockettes, their version of the
Yeah,
Rockettes.
well, yeah, we can do the sync, like choreographed kick. Yeah.
Why not?
But yeah, we got that. There's a Trauma Fest. That's in Iola, Kansas, and that's October 2nd. We've got a show in St. Louis at the Foo Bar with Sky Dweller.
They're coming to get them.
Yeah, we got all kinds of shit going on.
We got another one in,
There's one in Tulsa in June 22nd.
That's at that Badass
Renee's.
That place is cool.
That
Everybody
is
goes through
cool.
Tulsa should check that place out.
Yeah,
It's Badass Renee's, so it's bar.
Oh,
B-A-R.
nice.
Right. But they're really nice.
Yeah, they're really cool. Let's see what else. We're playing this BMX competition. Like we're playing in the middle of like these ramps and stuff. That's going to be. It's been moved to October 12th, I believe. Is that in the middle of a cornfield, basically?
and like
We played it last year.
we played it last year.
It was a lot of fun.
It
Yeah,
was.
those are some of the nicest people.
It was a ton of fun.
Those kids are hungry for music, man.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
it's so
Really
nice.
awesome.
Yeah,
It's like
was-
16, 17, they love it, man.
yeah, it was
And they
awesome.
started riding too. So like sitting there playing it.
We playing and watching people like do flips and tables. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we're playing this benefit. It's called Legacy of Rock, and it's to help keep music in public schools. And that's also,
Holy
yeah,
Cool.
that's pretty awesome. That
It's
means
like
a
that.
lot to me, but in particular with having kids in school that are in bands.
Because that's usually the first thing they want to cut, man.
Right.
Yep.
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 That's
One of the first things that they tried to cut in my high. I was in a band in high school. Yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
If
Yeah,
they
that's
get for money in school, that's the first thing
Right.
they cut.
Sports,
This
Sport
cuts
and
the
band.
arts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I went to school in Webb City, which is known football town. And that's cool if that's your thing. It wasn't my thing. But, you know, they always had new uniforms, new whatever. But, yeah, bands, like, couldn't get anything.
Right.
You know, or
Yeah.
any kind of art or any of that stuff.
And
Yeah.
They make the money
Hard-
off the
hard to
football
come by.
team, but not off the band.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for spending your Sunday
you.
afternoon, Monday, whatever you want to
Man,
call it.
thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to take
Good-
you out
good
with
talking.
you guys' title song. This is Grave Huffer. Anything to say before I play Grave Huffer?
Tell them about the intro that guy did.
Yeah,
It's
we-
got cool.
The intro for that was done by our friend DJ Thunderhead, who works with Metal Devastation Radio, and he put that together for us. And it's like got footsteps and the guy like digging a grave and sliding the cover off the tomb, not the tombstone, but the coffin, sarcophagus, whatever. It's like sounds like cement, and then you hear this and it's pretty cheeky, but it's cool. I mean, it worked out really good. And I remember we were thinking, man, we ought to have a song called Grave Huffer. Why
Right.
not? You know,
Because Iron Maiden's got an Iron Maiden.
Sabbath.
Motorhead has a Motorhead.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Black
like,
Sabbath.
Black Sabbath, yeah. So we're like, we need to do that too.
So it's kind of like a little bit of a tip of the hat to those guys.
Right. And just stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've always really liked our name, and we didn't come up with the name. So it's like our friend Dozer gave us that name because he always thought it'd be a cool name for a band. And that was right around the time we were looking to change our name from Crom. And so this has been years back, but I mean, I still to this day I have not heard another Grave Huffer. And it's hard to come up with an original name.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
We threw around a bunch of fucked up names.
Right.
yeah, definitely.
Real quick, I still wanted to call the band Fisted Sister, but nobody else would go for it. But I thought
Fisted
Fisted
Sister.
Come on.
That's
That's
bad.
bad.
But he's ever got, oh my god, I can't believe he said that on there. Oh my.
I just have a bad picture in my head from that. Oh my.
Holy shit.
It was
Great talking to you guys.
You
Good
too.
luck
Break
with
the
the
leg
leg
and all your shows. I hope
you
I know
do
you'll
Thank
be
you.
great.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks again, and this is Grave
All right,
Huffer, and it'll take us out for the night show. And once again, thanks a lot.
Thanks. Cheers.